Hi there, so I finally got around to doing the second part of the video on verbs which can use ing or the to infinitive form after them, and in this case they have a completely different meaning. So if you didn't see the first part of the video, click on the link below and that will take you to the first half of the lesson plan, or 2/3 of the lesson plan, and this is the bit which is a bit more complicated. So I'm going to talk about the verbs to stop and the verb to remember. So write 2 sentences on the board, or write it, you do it as a dictation. Ask one of your students to write these sentences on the board for you. He stopped thinking and he stopped to think. Ask your students a question. Are these sentences the same or are they different? Do they mean something completely different, or are they interchangeable? See what they say. If they know that they're different, ask them why. See why they think that they're different. If they can get it, have a little bit of a feel of the level of their knowledge of this verb. They probably won't be able to pinpoint it, so we can move on to the explanation. Involve another one of your students, choose somebody different, and ask them their grandmother's name, and then draw a picture of their grandmother. So this is your grandmother. She was playing cards. What was she doing? Oh, dropped it there. She was playing cards. It's important to emphasize the ing. She was playing cards. She was playing cards, but then she felt really thirsty, or she felt like she needed a cigarette, so she wanted to go outside. So she had to stop. What did she stop? She stopped playing cards. You can have them write that down, or you can just do it orally. Why did she stop playing cards? She stopped to go outside and have a cigarette, or she stopped to drink water. Blah, blah, blah. So from there you're kind of introducing the idea that the question what she stopped is answered by ing form. Like, what was she doing? What did she stop? And the question why is answered by the to infinitive. I have that written down here in a multiple fashion. So she was playing cards. What is with the ing is answered by ing. So she stopped playing cards. And why, with the to infinitive, she stopped to go outside. Okay, so the next stage then is to get your students to put this into practice. Maybe you can give one sentence orally. Say, for example, the monster stopped picking his nose to scratch his backside. The monster stopped picking his nose to scratch his backside. And you can ask them, what did he stop? And here you need to elicit the full sentence. He stopped picking his nose. And why did he stop? He stopped to scratch his backside. Some fun vocabulary there as well, really. And then move on and ask them to write some sentences, full sentences, like somebody stopped doing something to do something else. Full sentences like that. Check that they're correct. And then as a group, you can have them ask each other what they stopped doing and why they stopped doing it. And that's a really good way to check that they've understood it and to put it into practice. Okay, so the next verb, which can be followed by either the ing or the to infinitive form, is the verb to remember. So again, either as a dictation, or you write it out, or somebody write it on the board for you, you dictate it to them. 2 sentences. She remembered to feed the cat, and she remembered feeding the cat. Are they different? Are they the same? Why are they different? Blah, blah, blah. And then for the explanation. For the explanation, again, I like to use lots of pictures, lots of images. Help people visualize this and help it stick in their memory. Talk about a to-do list. It's not a shopping list. It's a to-do list. It's a list of things that we need to do. So your grandmother, again, same grandmother. In the morning, imagined she was writing this list of all the things that she needs to do today. She needs to buy some milk, she wants to walk the dog, she has to feed the cat, to blah 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 blah. All the things that she has to do, you can have a huge list going on there. When you come home, when she comes home, you ask her these questions. So then we're going to do it as like a role play. So with 3 students, you have the first student to be the grandmother, 1 student to ask the grandmother, and another student to write on the board or a piece of paper. So to write whether she remembered to do something or whether she forgot to do something as well, if it's negative, she didn't remember or she forgot to do it. So an example here would be like person A, did you remember to feed the cat? And the grandmother says, person B says, I remember to feed the cat. So the person on the blackboard says, writes down, she remembered to feed the cat. And this is a picture. When she says, I remember feeding the cat, she's got a little bubble here. It's like blah, blah, blah. She can see the image in her mind. And this image is the memory. And maybe it's worth noting that the ing is often a thing. It's like a noun in some cases. And the thing that she remembers, the memory, is feeding the cat. So maybe you can just extend it and note that. Make sure that they note that to do is from the to-do list, and the ing is the memory. And here we go. I've written it down handily there. She remembered to feed the cat is from the to-do list, and she remembered feeding the cat. And the feeding, the ing, is the memory. So there you go. Then you can maybe go back and play your board game that was at the end of the last video, or finish your class with lots of laughing and smiling, talking about things that they remember. Do you remember your first kiss? Do you remember kissing your first girlfriend? Or do you remember meeting I don't know, your best English teacher? Whatever. Ask lots of questions and see if you can get them to construct their own sentences using remember. Enjoy this lesson plan, have fun in your classes, and I'll be back soon with more videos. Bye bye!